Hello, everyone, and welcome to Neutral Wrestling, the podcast that brings you the lads from the Northwest. And we are going to add to this today, not necessarily from the Northwest, but there's more to come there. Dan, how are you today, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, Danny. You?
I am very, very, very well.
You ready for the Royal Rumble?
I'm ready to rumble. I'm also ready for Worlds Collide. I've got some friends over in Houston at the moment. They are currently sipping frozen margaritas, and I am very, very jealous. What I'm going to take you over to now, and I'm going to say hello and welcome and introduce you to Tebbs. Tebbs, how are you today, mate?
Not bad, Danny. How are you? You well?
I am very well. You were actually considering going to Royal Rumble this year, weren't you?
Yeah, Royal Rumble for me is probably more exciting than Mania, to be totally honest. So yeah, Royal Rumble is one of those tick box exercises, bucket list for me.
Yeah, I think I was saying to Dan a couple of weeks ago, the people of our age group, Royal Rumble was always a favourite, wasn't it? Because it was something that was different in the days of like 4 and 5 pay-per-views. It was always something that you really look forward to.
Like, I grew up watching over and over again the VHS of Royal Rumble 1990. So that for me was the first wrestling video I had. So I used to watch that over and over again. That was what I grew up on.
Well, on that point, could you let us know a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and you're not from the Northwest, unfortunately. Where you're from, and how you got started watching wrestling, and how you met these two delinquents that you're talking to today.
Well, currently residing in Leeds. Lived here. Well, grew up here. Moved away to Carlisle. Moved back about 5 years ago. So lived up there about 15 years. Watched wrestling all the way through to the Attitude Era, the Invasion. I was one of those lonely souls that thought the Invasion wasn't that bad, but only because I never used to watch WCW. Moved to Carlisle, went to university, so didn't have Sky, fell out with wrestling, missed John Cena almost entirely. And then it was our co-friend Neil that sort of got me back into wrestling, and through him I've been able to learn to love the indie stuff, AEW, New Japan, all sorts of different stuff. I just appreciate everything now. And how did I meet you two? Danny, we were Yankee Stadium. I think that's the first time we met, wasn't it?
Was it Yankee Stadium or was it the Rev Pro show?
Rev Pro show, yeah, on the Thursday. But yeah, that's my memory of WrestleMania. We were complaining about the amount of salt that they put on a pretzel while watching the game. And Dan, we were house sharing, weren't we?
Yep, back in what was it, Jersey City with G.
Yep, G. Yep, the legend that is G, the walking enigma. And but yeah, the fact we talked on the phone a couple of times, when we were getting the tickets and stuff. And
that was the first time when we was getting the tickets for WrestleMania 35. What a stressful day that was.
Oh God, tell me about it. I think the first thing you ever said to me was, "Do you want a Mountain Dew?"
What?
Do you want a Mountain Dew? Do you want a drink? I'm like, yeah, okay, cheers, thanks. And I'm just being inundated with Pop and G's stories. So yeah, it was a good time.
Good stuff. What we're going to do, we are actually going to do in the next couple of weeks a show on reviewing the whole of WrestleMania 35 trip. So we'll get into more of that as the podcasts go on. But today we're here to talk about what's going on this weekend in WWE. That is going to be the Royal Rumble and Worlds Collide. Boys, where do you want to start? Dan, I'll let you answer this one. Royal Rumble or Worlds Collide?
We'll start with Royal Rumble because it's like obviously the bigger of the two. So I think we'll talk about that sort of like your interest in the show. Like, is it as much as previous years? For me, I feel like I don't think really they've done that good a job building up the Royal Rumble really for the last few years, to be honest. But I don't think they've done a particularly good job building it up. But as I've been saying to both of you, Raw has been pretty watchable the last few weeks. This has been the first time I've been regularly watching WWE TV for probably about 6 months now. But the shows have been solid. But as I say, the go home angle on Raw, you'd expect to get a big go home angle. Maybe in previous years, you'd have everyone in the ring brawling or whatever. The go home angle was basically just a mixed tag between Rusev, Liv Morgan, Lana, and Bobby Lashley. And it just went off there like that. So I think that was a little bit disappointing. But there's quite a few interesting things going into it. Obviously, you've got Brock Lesnar for the first time, one of the main champions, going into the Royal Rumble. For what reason, we don't really know. But he's going to enter the Rumble first. So obviously, you'd expect maybe they'll use that as a way to get a match set up for the Universal Championship. And then the winner might... for the WWE Championship. And the winner might go on to face the Universal Champion in Bray Wyatt or Daniel Bryan. But yeah, Tebbs, what's your excitement for the Rumble League? Because you regularly watch the WWE TV, don't you?
Yeah, I watch Raw and SmackDown. Usually they repeat the next day, next couple of days. Most pay-per-views, I'll take the day off afterwards and sit up and watch them.
You poor soul. But that's been a hard few months.
There's been a few times there's been some angry text messages go flying around when Stomping Grounds matches announced during Crown Jewel and Hell in a Cell, whatever that was. Just absolutely tormenting me. But there's been some good times as well. In terms of this, Royal Rumble for me, the actual match, it's just a group of stories that are put together. I know that's what makes a good match, which is why I think this is going to be a good one. But if you look down, there's the Randy Orton, AJ Styles stuff. There's Rowan in there that can do a bit. It's going to be stories going all the way through, which I think leaves it so unpredictable. Usually, like you say, you just get the 20-man brawl in the ring and you've got no idea what's going to be coming. I think now there's clear stories in front of us.
And for you, Danny, are you excited for I know you've been like more out of the TV than probably us two, but Royal Rumble always brings back people.
I've been catching up on clips as well, and I think this we haven't mentioned when I've been on is the new TV shows that are coming on terrestrial TV, WWE Raw and SmackDown, hour versions, condensed versions, and I've got to be honest with you, I think that's going to be my way to go going forward. So I have been trying to keep up with little bits and bobs. One thing that always pisses me off, not pisses me off, but I don't like it, is we've got 8 matches, including the 2 Rumbles, right? I don't like seeing somebody compete in a match previously and then go into a Rumble. Now, I know it's been done on and off for years, mostly last couple of years, but I don't know. I want to see the likes of... I don't want to watch Baron Corbin twice in one night. There's no way I want to watch Banter Baz in a 15-minute match and then coming in and getting even more face time within a Royal Rumble. I think it takes away from it slightly, but as Paul said, there's a lot of different threads going into as Tebbs said, sorry, there's a lot of different threads going into the men's Royal Rumble. There's 25 people being announced, from what I understand, so that just leaves a nice space, doesn't it, for the mystery 5. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The women's Rumble, has that been built up much? Because I haven't really noticed anything that's been going into that.
There's not been much build up, has the Tebbs. I think they only announced 4 people for it. I feel like Charlotte's been announced, and then like Sarah Logan and maybe a couple of others, but they've not really been concentrating on it, have they, Tebbs, really?
No, not at all. You got Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are in there, Sarah Logan, who announced herself on Twitter, according to Wikipedia, which is always great TV. Natalia, it's... Nah. How can you get excited for something? Yeah, when you think that there's going to be 25 surprise entrants. Well, you know, you throw Iconics in there, you throw maybe Naomi coming back. I just don't think there's going to be anything out of whoever number 1 is and number 30, and everything else in the middle's just taking up time.
You see, I've got to be honest, I rather enjoyed last year's women's Royal Rumble match. And if they are going to be bringing back, you know, whether they bring some people back, like the likes of Trish, Lita, anyone from that era, if they were going to bring them back, in fact, the one that looked the best out of a lot of them was Molly Holly, I thought. But if you are going to bring them back, you want to be showcasing them a little bit, building up to it, don't you?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, there's only so. I think this is the third women's Royal Rumble. I mean, I love the first one. I think last year they had loads of people from NXT in it. It was the whole Becky Lynch Royal Rumble. But
Yeah,
I think the two women's Royal Rumbles that they've done previously have been good. This year's one, although the build has been like a lack of build up for it, the WWE women's roster is amazing, really. It's the best it's ever been. There's some great wrestlers, female wrestlers.
yeah.
Look at NXT. That NXT women's division is completely shitting on AEW's women's division. So there's some great NXT, like you've got Rhea Ripley, who's like basically turning herself into a star at the moment. You've got like Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, just off the top of my head. There's plenty of others.
Well, we
Yeah.
went to that World Collide show, didn't we?
Oh, we did, yeah.
At Access, and it was the women's NXT. And to be honest with you, that talent pool is deep, deep, and there's still people who are on there that we haven't seen get a fair crack at the whip, just because there's that much in that, in that pool of talent. So fair play to WWE.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm just looking. I'm trying to think. Should we just go into like our predictions for the women's Royal Rumble? Seeing we've been talking about it now, or because I'm guessing usually. Well, I don't know what they usually do, but I think the best way to go is probably have the women's open the show and the men's close it. I know sometimes they do them back to back, but for me, you need like when they do a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, you have the first Hell in a Cell open and then the last one main event. But whether they'll do that or not, but I think maybe the women's Royal Rumble is one to start with. Tebbs, who's your pick for the women's Royal Rumble if you had to name one?
I think Baszler.
Yeah.
I think they're going to move her up. I think one thing I noted down earlier, and I'm one. You when I speak to you two away from here, I like to dream big, and I just think having Rousey come back and have a showdown with Flair and Banks in the ring and tease that 4 horsewomen match at Mania. If Rousey's going to come back, then that's going to happen. I think that's going to set up something moving forward. If not, it's going to end up being somebody like Alexa Bliss. I think it's either going to be absolutely amazing or it's just going to be run of the mill and kind of bit of an anticlimax, to be honest.
Yeah, like you said, to be honest with you, I was saying Alexa Bliss. I know, like, we're not talking about odds or anything, but for her to be in the final 4, Tebbs, is 5-1. And Alexa Bliss is one of them that, well, they just love, don't they? They always seem to go back to her if they need a champion, if they need a storyline. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Bliss get like a run.
She's solid. She looks great in the ring. She's great on the mic. She can do heel. She can do face. Yeah, she's reliable. But I think if it's going to go first, I think if something big's going to happen, they'll go on last. It all comes down to placement, really, doesn't it? But I'm going Baszler.
Yeah, because they had the women's. I think the women's one main evented when Ronda Rousey actually made a debut. But I think you touched on a good point there, because nobody's really talking about this year's WrestleMania being the horsewoman versus horsewoman match. But if you look at it, they have sort of brought Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair back together after the feuds over the last year. Obviously, Sasha and Bayley are a tag team, so it wouldn't be like unthinkable that they did actually do that. For me, prediction-wise, you've gone with Baszler. I think that's probably a safe-ish bet. I'm going to go with Ronda. I don't know, it's all gone quiet. There's been no real, like, hints of a return. I think, I don't see why they wouldn't just bring her back. I'd personally like to see Ronda versus Becky at WrestleMania. That's the match for me that should have happened last year, but they went with the triple threat match. So I'd be a fan of seeing Ronda versus Becky. But I think it's between Ronda and Shayna for me. Obviously, Ronda might not even be in it. What about you, Danny? Who's your pick for the Women's Royal Rumble?
Well, firstly, I'd love to see the horsewomen of MMA versus the 4 horsewomen of WWE. I'd love to see that angle play out. As I say, you can see Shayna and Ronda standing side by side against Charlotte and Becky, or Charlotte and Sasha, or something like that. I think it's a storyline that's already been built. It's already ready to go. What you need to do is just run with it then. And you've got two and a bit months to run until Mania. But I've got to be honest. I've got to say that the woman who rejected my marriage proposal, I've got to go ahead and say she's going to be a Shayna Baszler. She's been an absolute fucking killer for the last 2 or 3 years. She looks amazing. I've got to stick with her. I think the only other one that I could say that hasn't been mentioned already is Charlotte Flair, and for the same reasons that was said about Alexa Bliss before, it's because she's a steady hand to win anything, isn't she? She's always going to try and make the best of it.
Yeah, and they obviously they like WWE like the list of accolades, don't they? So if there's not an obvious winner for this year's Rumble, they might be like, oh, Charlotte's going to be in a title match. We'll get her to win it, and then she can add Royal Rumble winner to a list of accolades. But yeah, I was thinking maybe obviously the excitement for the Royal Rumble matches is obviously like who's going to win, but there's also like returns, as you mentioned, maybe Trish, maybe Lita. One name that hasn't been mentioned recently, I put something on Twitter. Who's been out injured for most of the year? I think we might see the return of one Nia Jax at the Royal Rumble. I don't know if she's due to be back, but see, I think she's been out. She's been out for seems like ages. I can't remember the last time we seen her wrestle.
Was it last year she did both Royal Rumbles?
Yeah, she did, didn't she? Because they was going to do that feud with Dean Ambrose, weren't they? If you remember. And then did Randy Orton hit an RKO on her? I'm sure he did. He did, didn't he?
Yes.
I'm sure Ziggler did either a super kick or a zigzag on her as well.
Right. Tebbs, can you remember when she got injured?
It was she wrestled at WrestleMania because there was the 4-way women's tag match, and it was just after that.
Right. So she's been out a long time then. It's like 9 months.
Both her knees. She's had operation on both her knees or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I can see her coming back in. She's going to be the female version of when the Big Show or Braun turn up and you just see Lawler saying, "Oh, she's my pick. Nobody's going to get rid of her," and they're all going to team up. It's going to be that spot, but she'll come in looking like an absolute monster for about 5 eliminations. But no, fair play, because it needs some change up just the main roster women's belts anyway.
Yeah, so we might as well talk about the other women's matches on the show. So we've got Becky Lynch versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. That's obviously, I quite like that because that's like a rematch of last year. If you remember, Asuka beat Becky Lynch in the opening match on that show before Becky went on to win the Royal Rumble. So I do like that. They should have really maybe done that match before, but maybe they were holding it off for the Women's Royal Rumble this year. But yeah, I think that them two should have a really good match. I mean, the match was really good last year, Tebbs. So yeah, I think they should have a really good match. They've been building it up for a while.
I can't remember. Did she make a tap out or did she pin it? I can't remember. I can remember it being a good match, and I remember Becky coming back at the end in the main Rumble. But I can't remember the match. I just remember it being good. I think it's most WWE matches are like that at the minute.
Yeah, but I think she tapped her. I think she tapped her because Becky came out selling the knee, didn't she? Might be wrong.
Yeah, she came out. I'm sure she came down limping or whatever. But no, it's. I think Lynch is winning that. I really do. But then again, Asuka's looked strong lately, and she might just. Yeah, I don't know. Go for Lynch.
Yeah, I think Becky will win as well. This is just like the Royal Rumble title matches are usually just to get you through to WrestleMania. I think they're more likely to have Becky in one of the title matches at WrestleMania than maybe an Asuka. What about you, Dan? Are you going with Becky or?
So who's Becky fighting? Sorry,
Asuka.
Right. I was under the impression that he was in the Chinese Super League at the moment.
I knew you was going to say that. I thought I was going to say Asuka.
He used to play for Chelsea, right? Didn't he? Yeah.
Well, what do you want me to say? Asuka.
Asuka.
Well, what did I say?
Oscar.
Oh, okay, Dan. Right, so Danny, you going with Becky then? I'm going to sidestep a little jab.
No. I'm probably going to go for Asuka, to be honest with you.
Not Oscar.
Not Oscar, no. He's doing well enough for himself over in China. I'm going to go for Asuka on this one. I think there might be a little bit of a shake-up on that. It might release, depending on where the match is laid out. Could we see another another Becky Lynch addition to the Women's Royal Rumble, and then possibly be taken out rather than winning it this year, and again building to something else at Mania. I'm gonna go ahead and look for Asuka in this one.
Yeah, it's a good shout. You could have Becky then go into the Rumble for Shayna to beat her, because obviously they have the elimination. The Royal Rumble, I think, has lost a little bit in terms of the title matches seem to be pretty much decided at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Whereas back in the day, if you won the Royal Rumble, you was pretty much gonna, do you know what I mean, be in the main event at WrestleMania. But they have switched it up a few times. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with that. The other women's match is Bayley versus Lacey Evans for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Lacey Evans got a clean pin victory on Bayley last week. So they're going in strong with Lacey as a babyface. She's been built as like mother, ex-Marine. So I think they're doing a good job building up Lacey Evans. Whether or not they want to have her in a title match at WrestleMania, there's been a lot of rumours on the internet. I don't know if either of you two have seen it, that the report is that the match at Mania is going to be Bayley versus Sasha. But I feel like that's a match that has been rumoured to happen at WrestleMania for the last 3 years in a row leading up to it, and it never seems to happen. But yeah, Tebbs, what are your thoughts, Bayley, Lacey Evans? Have you got into the Lacey Evans character over the last few months, or are you going with Bayley?
Fine-looking woman. Sorry, Tebbs.
Are you allowed to say that in 2020 or not?
Of course he is. Of course he is. A red-blooded male. I preferred her as a heel, to be totally honest. But, some of the backstage stuff, when, Bayley or Banks have refused to come out and face Evans in the match and she's gone looking for a scrap, there's been really some aggression there. It's been actually quite a feisty rivalry. And to then put the belt on Evans and then set up a feud with Bayley, maybe between Banks, I think they want to push Lacey Evans. They had to come out, was it number 1 last year? Was it number 2 in the Rumble?
Yeah, I think it was number 2, yeah.
That was her sort of first, big push, and they've really had sort of this view that they want. Remember, they kept bringing her out every single week and not doing anything, and then sending her to the back.
That was painful.
But they've wanted to keep her in people's thoughts. They want to push her just by not doing anything. I think this is where they're going to give the belt. I think something's going to happen to get Bayley out of it. They're going to give Evans the belt. She can move on to someone else, and you'll get your Bayley Banks match, but just non-title.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That so you could have 3 women's singles matches at Mania. It's because some thing is though, what they seem to like to do is like coronate people, at WrestleMania. So you never know, they could have Lacey lose. Like Danny said, once you lose a title match, they seem to not mind these days throwing you back out there to compete in the Royal Rumble. But yeah, so that's the Bayley Lacey Evans match. Danny, are you excited for this one? Are you excited for Bayley Lacey Evans?
Do you know what? It's not. I haven't seen a lot of build up because of the limited amount that I'm watching at the moment. But what I am excited about is I think Lacey Evans' time isn't due yet. I think it might be they are starting to build. Well, they have been building her up, as you say, is like a very good living, as you say, mum, and all the social media posts are all about how what a good character she is and what have you in the service in the armed forces. But I don't think just now is her time. What I would be really excited about is to let Bayley and Sasha go at Mania. And as you say, it's been rumoured over the last couple of years. But I would love to go out and see them and say, that takeover match you had back in NXT, go and do it on the grander stage and see where it goes. Because I don't think either of they've always been one of the top names in the women's division, but I still think Becky and Charlotte are just a little bit of it, not necessarily in terms of wrestling skill, but in terms of profile, in terms of character. And I think if you can go out and have a fantastic match at WrestleMania, like a 5-star match, you'll be remembered for it. So I'm hoping to see Bayley retain and go on and actually face Sasha this time.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably what I want. I think the title, although sometimes you can say a match doesn't need the belt, which this probably doesn't, but for me it just adds a little bit more of the title on the line. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes, like, I'm thinking of matches gone by at WrestleMania. I think, oh, that should have been like a title match. Like, say, like, I know, like, you didn't need it, but if you look at something like the Undertaker, Shawn Michaels matches, if they'd have had like a title on the line in them, they would have been even better than they were. But so I'm looking at the rest of the card. So we've gone through all the women's matches and the male matches, singles matches. That is, we've got Sheamus versus Shorty G. We've got Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin, and I think that it doesn't say this on here, but Tebbs, I'm sure they made that. Did they make that Falls Count Anywhere or something on SmackDown? I'm sure I seem to remember.
Anyway, yep. Roman Reigns said the Minute Maid Stadium is a pretty big place, and he's going to beat his ass all over it.
Right. So yeah, to me, they did all that stuff with the dog food. I thought it would have made more sense to have it like the loser eats dog food or whatever, but they seem to have sort of swerved that one. And then obviously
the hefty days of the Attitude Era. That's all gone now.
That would have been the marquee match back in the Attitude Era. And then obviously we've got a match that basically was it brings back memories, doesn't it? Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble. As soon as I talk about that match, the first match that obviously springs to mind is that match that they had at the Royal Rumble back 6 years ago now. Bryan Wyatt, they had the best match of Bray Wyatt's career. That was an absolutely brilliant match. I think sort of the gimmick of The Fiend might sort of prevent that from happening this time. But yeah, that was a great match, weren't it, back in 2014 between Bryan and Bray Wyatt at the Rumble.
Yeah, definitely. And I've got to be honest with you, I'm looking forward greatly to this match and also the Andrade versus Carrillo match. But the rest of them, the Roman Reigns, King Corbin, and Shorty G, I still can't get my head around that. I couldn't give a flying fuck about either of those matches.
Which ones?
Roman and Shorty G versus Sheamus and Roman versus King Corbin. I just couldn't give a flying fuck. I am not invested in any one of those characters. Probably the one I'm most invested in as the four of them is Roman. Now that could be because I'm not being watching the weekly TVs and I'm not seeing the intricacies that are going in to each and every storyline. But I really couldn't care less about either of those matches.
Yeah, I mean, the Sheamus Shorty G match was just Sheamus randomly attack Shorty G on his return. But the Roman Reigns Corbin match, for Tebbs, it's been building for quite a while, hasn't it? It's been all right. It's probably the best you're going to get out of the built-up Baron Corbin match.
Since SmackDown went to Fox, it's been building since about then. And you've had, Corbin saying he's the locker room leader, Roman suggesting he is. And it has just kept building and building. And I'm just wondering when it's going to stop.
Yeah.
I think, you'd like to think Falls Count Anywhere, that'll be the end of it. But then again, each week we're tuning in to see, well, I'm tuning in anyway.
At least there's one of you.
There's one of us, yeah. There's dozens of us. The
2.4 million of you, actually, to be fair.
I like the Falls Count Anywhere match bit. I think it adds something different to basically a bunch of singles matches. But I can't see past a Baron Corbin win again.
Really? So you're going with Baron Corbin, but I don't know.
I was thinking today, if Reigns wins that Falls Count Anywhere match, I really can see Corbin winning the Rumble.
Oh, don't say that.
I can see it happening. For as much as we all want, everyone expects Drew McIntyre to win. Everyone expects so-and-so to get the push. But I just think if you look at everything they've done with Corbin lately, what better than to have him come out saying he has his pick of the WrestleMania matches?
Oh, do you know what?
Actually, if I had any thoughts about it, it would be the other way around, to be honest, Tebbs. Saying that he'll win this match and possibly Reigns could go on and win the Rumble. But yeah, I get.
I think it's going to be one way or the other.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The only problem you've got, if you give Roman, the Rumble win, do you really want to open it up to all the backlash that it's going to get? I mean, for me, the obvious match at Mania is Roman versus Bray Wyatt. They've kept the two separate for months on SmackDown. But yeah, it's just, do you really want Roman to get? Do you know what I mean? He's not really getting booed as much as he used to. So do you want to? I suppose you're going to have to get him to win a big match at some point. He's sort of been like watered down a bit since his return, last WrestleMania. But Danny, did I hear you mention that Humberto Carrillo against Andrade has been added?
Yeah, it's
I
US.
didn't know that had been added.
It'll probably be the what you call it, the pre-show match. You'd imagine.
It better not be. They've been building that for weeks.
They always tend to put the US title on the undercard of the big shows. I don't understand it personally.
Totally don't, because they've like sort of, I think they're trying to like get Humberto to be like, the next big Mexican star. I mean, we had Andrade against Mysterio on Raw in that ladder match, and obviously Humberto came out and sort of saved Mysterio weeks ago. Tebbs, I haven't watched it. I was just listening to a podcast about it. Did Humberto take out? No, Andrade took out Humberto like a month ago or something on Raw.
Yeah, there were always there were a bit of to and fro in between AJ Styles, Humberto, and then Andrade get involved and Ray. But yeah, Andrade took him out. I'm sure I heard him say on Raw the other day that they hadn't seen him in weeks, and that was the point of him coming back. So that's probably where they've got that one from.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd sooner have the Sheamus Chad Gable match, on the pre-show. That's sort of the match. It wouldn't surprise me if they'd put the US title match on, but.
Well, I was thinking through, you look at an hour for each Rumble, and you got to think about timing. I think that Sheamus match is him coming out, kicking Shorty G's head off, and his music goes in 30-second squash. So I think I think it'll be something like that. They really just want to, if they want to push him as this, this beast, this mad dog warrior, then you're not going to have him go 15 minutes with Shorty G, which I think is more name altogether, but still.
Yeah, they could probably have a decent match, but there's not really much. Nobody really cares about that match, do they? One thing I've noticed, there's no tag titles being defended on the show either, is there?
No, not at all. I was just the frustrating thing is with WWE, they just don't care about the tag team titles at all, do they? There's never a huge showcase of any of the tag team talents.
Yeah, no, I mean, they've just switched the titles on Raw. They had Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy beat the Viking Raiders, and it was a pretty good match. And I was watching it, and I thought, you could have stuck this on the Royal Rumble. It was like a 3.5-star match. It was a load of fun. You had new champions, so I think you could have put that on the Rumble, but they put it instead in the middle of Raw. But, yeah, because obviously I can't really see Seth doing anything in the male Royal Rumble, so you could have easily just had the tag team match on the Rumble show. But yeah, so obviously I'm not sure there's much point in doing predictions for like the Sheamus Shorty G match. Pretty obvious Sheamus is going to win. So should we just go into the Bryan versus Wyatt match? What are your expectations, Tebbs, for this? Do you think we're going to get like a good match, or is it going to be like a character-based, do you know what I mean, sort of match? And who do you think is going to come out as the winner?
Well, I think Wyatt's winning it. I think they're being insane. No offense to Bryan, I think it's fantastic talent, but the need to keep Wyatt as this unstoppable force. And I mean, the strap match for me is...
it's a strap match, isn't it? I completely forgot about that. I understand that.
When, I was thinking back through 90s Attitude Era or whatever, Undertaker, Kane, anytime they're in a feud with somebody, when have their opponent ever said, I need to put a strap on them so this supernatural force doesn't run away from me? And Daniel Bryan said, that's why I want a strap match, so the Fiend can't run away. Like, this is the Fiend that comes out of the ring and tries to kidnap your kids. You know what I mean? He shouldn't be having to be strapped to the challenger so he don't run away. And it's just going to be red light. It's going to be him throwing Bryan around. Maybe a giant comedy mallet will come out. But I just hope they stick with Wyatt and push him through till Mania. And then give somebody like, if you want Roman to be the first person to pin him clean, then do it at Mania, great. But I think they need to follow through with it now.
Yeah, same. I mean, for me, I want to see Roman versus Bryan at Mania. I mean, I know you like it, Tebbs, but I preferred the old Bray Wyatt gimmick. This Fiend, yeah, it's a nice mask, yeah, it's nice entrance music, but it means I'm going to get a red light on the match. I'm not going to be able to see it properly. The match is just going to be beyond ridiculous with like 20 chair shots, mallet shots, and it's just, I don't know. For me, I don't know. Danny, do you like, what are your thoughts? Are you excited for this match?
Yeah, I actually am quite excited for the match. I want to see Fiend win. I do like the character. I do want to see him go into Mania with the title. And I've got to say, my thoughts on most gimmick matches. But one of my favourite matches ever was Sting versus Vader at Super Brawl 3. And it was a strap match. And it was absolutely, it was one of the best matches that I watched from WCW. So I've got to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to seeing the strap match because I haven't really seen one, especially any ones that have caught me attention for quite a long time. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. As I said, Bray Wyatt has got to go through as champion to WrestleMania for me. I would again, Daniel Bryan. You've talked about the, looking at a situation with Roman Reigns. I don't know about that. I'm happy to see where they go next with Daniel.
Yeah,
I personally would like to see him go down a AJ Styles route in the future, but a proper, not a feud that's based on like somebody's wife, like the Samoa Joe AJ feud. I don't want anything like that. Just about competition. I just want it to be about who's the best wrestler. So Daniel Bryan, if he can go with anyone like Samoa Joe, like AJ, like Aleister Black, like Nakamura, just as two men who are competitive about being the best wrestler. That's what I'd like to see for Daniel going forward.
Yeah, I'd sooner Bryan be on NXT, me. I think he'd thrive in NXT working with, like we've seen the match with Adam Cole. But the only reason I mentioned Bryan against Roman is they'd like sort of set up a feud. If you remember that, it looked like the match was going to happen at SummerSlam. It never did. And then they went with them as a tag team. So I remember at the time thinking, are they trying to hold that off for WrestleMania? But like you say, I think for someone to beat The Fiend, I don't think Daniel Bryan is the right man. Do you know what I mean? To beat The Fiend after he's been so, do you know what I mean, indestructible. No. So I think as much as like people don't like him, I like Roman Reigns. Yeah, he can work a good match, and I would like to see Roman Reigns take the title off Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, and then maybe we can get Roman versus Bryan, or I don't know, Roman versus, I'm trying to think of any other good wrestlers on SmackDown. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's probably the way they're going to go in it. Keep the title on Bray Wyatt, and have him face Roman at WrestleMania. So that brings us to the men's Royal Rumble. What do you reckon, lads? Are we going to get a good Royal Rumble match like we've had the last couple of years from the men? Or are we going to get one of them Royal Rumble matches that fall to pieces, those classic 2014, 2015 Rumble matches that get baby faces like Rey Mysterio booed, the Big Show and Kane run wild on everyone, and maybe we'll get Baron Corbin winning just to get everyone shitting on this Rumble? Or are we going to get a really good match? We might have the likes of Cain Velasquez returning, Edge, maybe a Keith Lee debut in the Rumble, Matt Riddle. Let's get this Matt Riddle-Goldberg feud starting for WrestleMania. Tebbs, what are your hopes and expectations for the men's Royal Rumble?
Well, we've got Brock Lesnar, number one. I think the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the match is going to be just revolving around him. He's going to come in, he's going to do his 10 minutes. I think you've got a chance to just tell a really good story in maybe 3 or 4 entries, send in a Kona Reeves or an R-Truth, just easy eliminations, one after the other, and then you bring in a Keith Lee, a Matt Riddle, whoever you want to eliminate Brock and really make a name for it. You don't have to have them winning the whole match, but I think whatever happens with Brock, whoever comes in and gets rid of him is somebody they're going to push all the way to Mania and give him that shot at the title. Final four. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that's like one of the most interesting things. Who is going to eliminate Brock Lesnar? I'm hoping it's Riddle or Keith Lee, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's Kane.
Do you remember the Keith Lee gif where he comes running across and barges into Adam Cole and sends him flying into the crowd?
Yeah, on NXT TV.
Imagine Keith Lee and Brock Lesnar crisscrossing, and Keith Lee just sends Brock out over the ropes like that.
Oh, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
But Keith no, it's gonna be Cain Velasquez, and then he'll get eliminated by somebody. That's how it's gonna go. But no, I'm hoping that final four. It's probably gonna, maybe even Roman. Who did I have? Roman, Corbin, Randy Orton, and maybe somebody like Ricochet. Maybe even a Keith Lee if they've held back on them till the late entries. But I think it's going to be one of Roman or it's Roman. I'm going Roman.
Yeah, probably. I think that's probably for me. It's between Roman and Drew. I think they probably will go with Roman. I mean, you could even have like an Aleister Black in the final four. They seem to have been pushing him strongly recently on TV. It's just one of them things. I mean, people, we're even past the stage where none of us are like, CM Punk going to return in the Royal Rumble. That's how far gone people are caring about that man. Best thing he did for you, Danny, going on that WWE backstage thing. So as soon as he's done that, nobody really cares about the guy anymore. But yeah, I mean, the big thing for me is Edge gonna return. There's been rumours for months about it. He obviously came out at SummerSlam and speared, was it Dolph Ziggler that he speared someone at SummerSlam? I actually missed that. It was on the pre-show. So yeah, the big question, Danny, is Edge coming back at the Royal Rumble, and who is your pick to win?
I hope he doesn't come back at the Rumble. I'll be honest with you. I don't. I think he deserves. If he's coming back, he deserves more of a spotlight where it's all about him. It's not. I would just do it at a random Raw or SmackDown where the whole show is about him, and that's what everyone's going to remember. Not Edge's return amongst this other pile of things, and so's going to WrestleMania. That's what I'd like personally. But from the Royal Rumble itself, I think it's hard to look past Roman Reigns. What I would like to see in terms of Brock Lesnar is him coming out at number one, and then directly straight after him at number two, Cain Velasquez, and the two of them going at it. There's also the possibility that nobody's been speaking of. Tyson Fury's got a fight in February against Wilder, I think. That's plenty enough time for him to. He's probably in training camp already for this fight. But if he wants to make a quick appearance at the Rumble for 2 minutes and take Brock Lesnar out of the Royal Rumble after coming in at number two, or taking both of them out at the same time and then brawling to the back, that's another possibility. But what I would really like to see is we've got R-Truth in the Rumble, and I would like to see him go in with his 24/7 belt on, and for the whole thing while the Rumble's going on, people pinning each other for the 24/7 title as a little side plot, and then obviously him retaining it and then getting knocked over.
Damn it, I hate to break it to you.
Oh, he's not the thing, is he?
No, he
oh, man. You see, this is
he lost it, didn't he? He lost it, didn't he? To they could just have him win it back in the pre-show, can't they?
Yeah, it could happen any time, any place, couldn't it? So. But I forgot all about that. But I would have liked to have seen something like that. If there's some way they can work it in, which I'm sure there is, I'd like to see something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, I want to see at WrestleMania. Like, I've sort of got to the stage where I accept that I'm not going to see, I don't know, your New Japan 4.5 to 5-star match. Yeah. So for me, I'm all for seeing Brock Lesnar against Tyson Fury at Mania. I'm all for seeing it. I mean, it's more WrestleMania. I'll have seen plenty of good wrestling throughout that week and weekend. So by the time WrestleMania comes, do you know what I mean? If you get a spectacle like Brock Lesnar and Tyson Fury on, as I say, I'm all for it. I'm not. The problem is if you look back a few years ago, they set up, if you remember, Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, and then they had him face at WrestleMania. But they set it up by having Goldberg beat Brock Lesnar in like a minute, didn't they? So for me, what sense does it make to have everyone saying Brock v Kane? But what sense does it make to have Brock beat Kane in like, a minute and a half at Crown Jewel? So for me, I don't want to see that match again. I don't want to see Brock versus Kane at WrestleMania. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we did. But
isn't there a Super Showdown at the end of February?
Yeah, there is. I mean, that's another thing. They could just be using the Brock Lesnar thing to set up his opponent for this Saudi Arabia show, because that's probably for WWE more important than, dare I say, WrestleMania at this moment in time. So yeah, we've not even spoke about.
You could just... Sorry.
No, I was going. Floor is yours, Tebbs.
They know they can set up a Brock Lesnar match any day of the week. You bring him in on Raw, somebody comes out, I want to fight you, done. So they can use this storyline of getting people watching the Rumble for Brock, sets up the new Saudi show, and then it's all forgotten about. And you can have the Elimination Chamber for everybody else on Raw fighting over who's going to take him on at Mania. When you mentioned about Edge coming back, there's one person I thought could be a surprise entrance. John Cena.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Just from what you said, Danny, there, maybe he could be with Tyson Fury having a fight to promote. John Cena's in Fast and Furious 9, which comes out in May, and they just love promoting their superstars who are in the mainstream movies. Yeah. To say Cena don't come back for a match against Brock, promoting the Fast and Furious film as well. I don't know. I think if there's a way to shoehorn in Cena, give him that last title win, and do it on a very sort of basic story, then I think that's the opportunity to do it, and have him come out to be the one to eliminate Brock.
Come screeching in the Subaru or something.
Subaru.
So just to confirm, you've both gone for Roman to win the Royal Rumble.
No, fuck it. I'm going for Mojo Rawley.
Mojo Rawley it is then. Right. So I'm just going to do a quick fire round to both of you now. Right. I'm going to read out some names, and I just want you to answer yes or no on if they are going to appear in this year's Royal Rumble. Right. So what we'll do, we'll start with Tebbs and then go to Danny. Yeah. Just a quick yes or no. Right. So Cain Velasquez.
Yes.
Yes.
Edge.
No.
No.
Keith Lee.
Yes.
And a yes from me as well.
Finn Balor.
No.
No.
John Cena.
Oh, sorry, yes.
It's gonna be a no from me, my friend.
Tyson Fury.
No.
Yes.
Get him, Mane's gone off injured. The Rock.
No.
I've got a feel. When you say that, are you talking about the actual Royal Rumble match itself?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've got a feeling he may appear on the show, but not on the Rumble itself.
Right. What do you think he's going to be doing, Danny? Have you got some inside info?
I think
Danny Meltzer.
I think it's probably he's probably going to have some sort of an appearance at Mania, because it's his hometown. He's probably going to be booked into the Hall of Fame. It's his father's just passed. I think there could be opportunity for him to come out and speak briefly on his father, and build up the promotion to Mania. I think there's a possibility of him doing something along them lines, because I do think he's going to play quite a prominent role outside the ring for WrestleMania. I think he's probably going to be the host or something like that.
Now, hopefully it's due, innit? We've not seen him at a WrestleMania since, 32?
Yeah.
G'd love that as well. He loves The Rock, or as he refers to him, Dwayne. Right, let's carry on. Tommaso Ciampa, Tebbs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lars Sullivan.
No.
Yeah, it's a definite no from me. Like.
Matthew Riddle.
Yes.
Bro, yes, of course he will.
This list on the betting site is getting even more ridiculous as I'm going down. Conor McGregor.
No.
Who the fuck's that guy?
The Undertaker.
No.
Nada. No.
Triple H.
Oh no. I can't see him turning up.
No, not for me.
Ronda Rousey to eliminate Brock Lesnar, but Ronda Rousey, she's in the bet.
I think she'd be number 30 at Women's Rumble. Or number 1 and go all the way. But either way, yeah, I think she's...
No, but this is for the men's Rumble.
The men's? Christ.
Yes. So's Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is in the betting as well.
I can't see either of them two being in the men's rumble. Not that Ronda couldn't just start collecting arms if she actually wanted to, but no, I don't see it.
Goldberg. Tebbs.
Yeah.
He's thinking.
Well, I'm thinking you think about all these moments you want to... I know it's quick fire, sorry. You think about these moments you want to see. You want to see Riddle take on Goldberg. You want to see Keith Lee eliminate Brock. You want to see this. You want to see that. They've got to save something for later today. No, not Goldberg.
Interesting. I see what you mean. You could have, again, one of these Saudi shows, you could have Riddle Goldberg. I was kind of saying Riddle, yes, because I was expecting Goldberg. So I'm going to say yes to Goldberg, but I see where you're coming from completely.
Yeah, they've got to do it. Come on, I mean, we've had the green light in Matt Riddle, yeah, to use the jackhammer and have people kick out at 1. They've got to do this match at some point. To me, they can give me all the red light matches. They can give me all the Cain Velasquez matches at WrestleMania they want. I'll take it as long as I get this Goldberg Matt Riddle match. I'm going to stop this quick fire round, but I'm just looking at some of the other curious betting odds. This is no spoilers, by the way, but we've got Kenny Omega at 80-1 to win the Rumble. We've got Jericho at 100-1. Dean Ambrose at 100-1. We've got Hulk Hogan at 100-1. Jinder Mahal 100-1.
That's where the smart money is.
We've got Nia Jax at 100-1. Babatunde 150-1. We've got Aiden English.
Is this just for entering, or is this for winning it?
For winning it. We've got Aiden English 250-1. We've got Grant Holt, Norwich City legend, 250-1. And then the last man in the betting is Vince McMahon, 250-1.
Oh man, I think didn't they last year they had Donald Trump was like 500-1, and he was actually still serving presidents.
I don't know, Danny. I don't know. But yeah, Donald Trump. I'll end the quick fire round, Tebbs. Donald Trump, yes or no?
I'd take the 5th. I've decided I shouldn't say anything about that man.
Oh yeah, I just remembered, Tebbs. Me and G went in that Trump Tower for a piss, didn't we? You wouldn't come in, and you were dying to use that toilet.
I got moved on by Secret Service.
Right.
Holland's outside.
To be fair, Tebbs, that's only because you were pissing on the wall outside the building.
You said you can't sit there. I said go inside. Don't wanna. Why not? Guess. Just move down the road. As soon as I take hold of the bigger gun. Time to run away.
The memories from New York. So that's obviously the Royal Rumble show. How are you two watching it? Obviously it starts 10 p.m. the pre-show our time, midnight the main show starts. Tebbs, you staying up, are you? You've got the day off work, the morning off work, sorry.
Morning, yeah, I've got the morning off, but I think I've got to stay. Up to 3 days ago, I was going to just watch it the next morning, or maybe even the next evening. But I love it too much. I'm staying up.
Yeah, I'm staying up as well. I got my little girl Saturday night. I've told her she does not wake up before 9 o'clock Sunday morning because I need to stay awake till 4 a.m. that night. So, yeah, she's under strict instructions. But she's a 3-year-old, so she's probably not going to listen. Danny, you staying up? I don't think you are here. You've got work.
I'll be up at quarter past 5, so no, I will watch it as soon as I come home. But I will be staying up for Wales Clyde.
I can't stay up for that because I've got little girls. So if I stay up till 4, I'm going to be up with her at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, ready to go and see Paw Patrol at the cinema Sunday morning.
Hey!
That is how my Royal Rumble day is starting. Paw Patrol, 11 o'clock showing. And I'll probably have to pay a $5 for some popcorn. Tebbs, you staying up for Worlds Collide?
I'm staying up for SmackDown, mate.
Jesus, you're keen. You're keen.
My entire sleep pattern this weekend has just been moved forward about 12 hours. I'm going to be sleeping during the day. SmackDown Friday night, Worlds Collide Saturday night, Royal Rumble Sunday night. Back to
Raw Monday.
Raw Monday, yeah. Let's keep the party going.
Oh shit! Them were the days. I remember, like 10 years ago. I think I stayed up for the go home show for the Royal Rumble when Randy Orton punted Vince McMahon in the head. That was 11 years ago. That 11 years ago. What a hot angle that was to go into the Rumble. Fast forward 11 years, and we've got Bobby Lashley pinning Rusev to go off air.